Hey everyone, Gaijin Goombah here. Now I'm sure you're wondering why in the world I'm showing you the beta of Mighty Number 9 and going all ad-lib on you instead of doing a well-recorded, well-edited video about culture and gaming. Well, today is my 30th birthday. So instead of toiling away at video editing, I kind of want to do something personal again, especially because this is my 30th birthday. To be honest, I really wish it was just me showing off the beta of Mighty Number 9, because I'm sure all of you know at this point that I absolutely adore this game. But playing this game and listening into everything that's been happening in social media, everything with the whole social justice warriors and all these other big controversies that keep happening in gaming, you know, the industry that I love, I'm reminded of my age. I know that sounds weird. But in reading all of this, watching all of this, I really am starting to feel my age in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously, I'm one of those indie whores that are just all about old-school gaming and avoiding the AAA industry and not caring so much about all of this cinematic storytelling, etc., etc. It's got its place, it's just not for me, which really does make me feel old. But at the same time, it takes me back to when stuff was simple, stuff was simplistic. And I just look at the industry now, and I look at how it's grown and evolved, and with money comes complications, with growth comes complications, and then you get opinionations, and then you get rallies, and then you get groups of people just knifing each other for having different opinions, and it's, you know, it's something that I don't know I want to be around anymore. You know, the gaming industry is something that I'm always going to care about, but my level of commitment to it may be changing. And most people, including myself, would blame my age for that, because I am getting older, and I don't understand these newfangled AAA games with all of their cinematics and quick-time events and whatnot, that all the kids do that can't get off my lawn, etc., etc. But it's through this that I'm starting to feel my age. And I'm feeling my age because I'm coming to a lot of realizations that take a couple of decades of being on this globe to figure out. And I think the biggest one that I've learned is that I just don't care. Now, I know that sounds really, really harsh on the surface, and I understand that a lot of you have been taken aback by that statement, especially coming from me, of all people. But this is the trend that I've really noticed when it comes to the social justice warriors thing with everything that's going on, is that I'm watching a lot of people lob each other with words. You know, there's just one side is, it's you are on one side or you're on the other. You are either for this or for that. There's no middle ground. Because heaven forbid we have a third outside opinion. And it's not necessarily with the gaming industry, like any of the gaming industry. It's also with any social problem. I've noticed this just getting older. What I see is a bunch of people that have legitimate points. Both sides really do have legitimate points. But no one is willing to be quiet, to sit down, to listen to that other side, and really try hard to figure out where that other group is coming from. And then from there, calmly discussing alternatives. You know, when old people, when I hear old people talk about how they're just kind of breaking off from the rest of the world, and that they hermit up in their houses and just don't pay attention to the world, I kind of think the big reason that they do that is they stop caring about all of the yelling that's going on because nothing's progressing and they're just tired of it. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Look, it's hard for me to straight up agree with just one party. It's hard for me to just straight up agree with only JonTron or only Tim Schafer or whatever these sides are, because again, like I said, I honestly think that both sides have their good points. I do think women are not really well represented in AAA gaming. I would argue all the livelong day that there's a lot of great examples when it comes to indie, but that's for a different time. And at the same time, I would agree that there are some things about being a guy, having our gender portrayed in gaming as being savage, and, you know, it kind of expands further from that. There's stuff that sucks about being a guy. There's not as many as women, but there's still stuff that sucks. But both sides just yell. They just yell and just yell their thoughts and their opinions. Nothing gets done. So, I mean, that's kind of why I say I don't care. Because no one's willing to stop and try to make progress. It's always... In my 30 years of existence, of my travels to and from Japan, of my studies of other nations, meeting people from all over the world, I've learned that if you're going to make any sort of successful interaction with someone else that is not of like mind, you're going to have to step aside from your personal thoughts and your personal opinions and think about their perspective. And that's not being done. That's not being done at all in this instance. Because what people are trying to do is change personal opinions. To change ideology and the way people perceive the world. You can't do that on a macro level. I don't care how sound your argument is. Humanity in general is pretty thick. We are very, very stubborn. You know, some of us more than others, I admit. But we're all pretty stubborn, and the more you age, the more set in your ways you're gonna be. I'm definitely feeling that now. But change comes from the inside. You can't force someone to change from the outside in. You can't just say, you should think this way, because it's right, here's why. It can't work that way. Because what you're doing is you're directly attacking people. Regardless if your side is correct or not. Directly attacking people, no matter how good your intentions are, no matter how good you think your wording is, it's not going to change people, it's not going to change people's hearts. Change of ideas, change of ideals, it has to come from a very personal level. And I know this is fact because I did it for 2 years of my life. You know, yes, I did teach English in Japan, but that was kind of one part of my job and my mission over there. The other was to be a grassroots diplomat. And what that means is I interact with the community to get them to open up, to see that I'm just a regular guy and I'm willing to think about their perspectives and such, but also at the same time show them, not force it on them, that there are other perspectives of viewing things. Whether it be sociological, whether it be religious, whatever it may be, if it's an ideal, that's kind of what it took. I had to go out to a lot of people. I lived in a little countryside town. There ain't no way a lot of these people were going to have any sort of outside interaction outside of Japanese fundamental way of life. But that's what it took. It took a friendly smile. It took understanding not only their language, but also a lot of their social positions, where they stand on a lot of things. Change didn't happen until I showed them that I was willing to look at their perspective, and maybe they should look at mine too. You know, they don't have to necessarily even, at the end of the day, agree with what I say. But the fact that you try to understand at least is where all of this crucial fundamental thinking comes from. So, I know I'm probably preaching in the choir because I'm fairly certain a lot of my fans already understand that. You know, if you like what I talk about, you're going to understand that different ways of thinking and understanding those is going to be important. But I feel like I got to say it anyway. It drives me bonkers how drastic things have changed, you know? I went to gaming to escape all this crap when I was younger. And now it's kind of caught up to me because the industry's gotten so big. And I admit, I'm an old codger. I miss the days of gaming simplicity. You know, not only with the way that they're presented, but also with all this extra drama and industry and money, and just all this other crap. And we're turning on ourselves. We're turning on each other as gamers. I never thought as a child that was ever going to happen. Shoot, people, we spent so much time, you know, we had to stand together to fight against other people saying, oh, you're into something stupid, you're going to rot your brain. It's just a multitude of things. And now we're putting social justice in to segregate us. We can't, as a collective group, sit down and say, we're all gamers, we all like games, let's calmly sit down and think about what's going on. Again, not taking sides. Both sides are right, and both sides are wrong, in their own special, unique way. It's just so flabbergasting that this gaming has spent such a long time trying to get out of people's mindset of we're just rotting our brains and not doing anything good with gaming in general. You know, I'm proving that's wrong. Matt's proving that's wrong. Extra Credits team is proving that wrong. Digital Gaming is even proving that wrong. We're spending so much time. We've gotten to that point where we've proven that it's not that way. So why is it that after all this work, we're turning on each other again? I just don't get it. Sorry, I'm ranting at this point, so I'll wrap this up. Look, guys, this is the point. If we could stop, if we can just stop shouting, stop yelling, and for God's sake, stop taking sides, and spend just a minute thinking about the other perspective, thinking about the other side, thinking about where they're coming from. Why do they think the way that they do? Have them explain to us why they think the way that they do. Even if we don't change, and even if we don't change other people, at least we will have that perspective. And I firmly believe with all my heart, nothing will change until both sides understand we've got to think about the other position. We have to think about the other side. We have to figure out where they're coming from so that we can get this stupid thing settled. Because it needs to settle, guys. We've spent so much time showing the community the good that gaming does. And doing this, we're just making it ugly all over again. And after we've come so far, let's just stop this, guys. Let's just stop yelling at each other. Even if you don't agree with each other, just stop yelling. Stop, think, try to put on the other person's shoes and walk a couple miles. It's really surprising how your state of mind will change over time. But that's really all I got, guys. Thanks for listening. Thank you for all the birthday wishes and such. You know, it's not so bad turning 30, it's not so bad getting older. Because, you know, with age comes wisdom. And I think this is a good example of that. So, thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, this is Gaijin Goombah, signing out.